it is still transfer window, and one of the, should I say, the biggest moves that has happened regarding Nigerian players. I think it's been about two of them. Yeah, in this transfer window. First off, we didn't talk about the Awoniyi move, so I'm going to bring that in now. The Super Eagles are trying to build a Premier League army. We are moving into
all our midfielders are in the Premier League now.
Premier League, yeah. So we are moving into the Premier League. And just last night, I'm tired of seeing Onuachu being linked to club. I just want to see an actual move. Last night I saw him being linked to Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League as well. And I don't want to see all this link. Just make this move. I tweeted something. There's a player in Belgium. It was his first season. His name is Denis Undav. He played for the league champions, Union Saint Galileo, and he moved to Brighton. Just one good season. Onuachu has had 2 good seasons. We're struggling to get a move. But that's another topic, by the way. But, let's talk about Taiwo Awoniyi's move to Nottingham Forest and Joe Aribo's move to Southampton. Now, first of Taiwo Awoniyi, record signing for Union Berlin, their first signing after 23 years away from the top flight. Now, what do you make of these 2 moves? Now, a lot of people have come out to say, Europa League, we saw Awoniyi in the last game for Union Berlin. He scored the 2 crucial goals that qualified them for Europa League. Now, leaving Europa League football to Premier League newcomers, we are not sure of their survival status for next season. I mean, Nottingham Forest is a big club, rich club in history in the Premier League in England. But, they are back in the Premier League after such a long time. So you don't know if they're going
23, 25 years or so.
You don't know if they're going to stay up or, is a survival fight for next season. But we've seen the likes of Brentford, came in, they held their own, they were in the dogfight. We've seen Sheffield United. The first season they came, they did so well. Then
Leeds United.
Yeah, Leeds as well. They've held their own. You never know where this is going to turn to. But, what do you make of Awoniyi's move? And of course, we saw Joe Aribo, leaving Rangers, who are in the Champions League qualifying preliminary round, moving over to Southampton. Leaving Rangers to Southampton. I was expecting a bigger club than Southampton, to be honest. But at the end of the day, it was Southampton. Now, what do you make of these 2 transfers? Awoniyi's move to Nottingham Forest and Joe Aribo's move to Southampton in the Premier League.
When I hear a lot of people say that you should have stayed in Germany and played the Europa instead of going to Nottingham Forest, I'm always like, okay, do you guys understand the dream that this guy have? Exactly. It's a player that signed for Liverpool with the intent that he wants to play for Liverpool, play in the Premier League. It's been his dream. I've interviewed him before. Like, his biggest dream is to play in the English Premier League. That dream didn't come true because of paperwork. Now, he had the opportunity to get in on the, what's it called, the system, to get into play for a club in the Premier League, and everything works well. One, money wise, it's a big money. It's the biggest transfer for Union Berlin.
Yeah.
The record transfer for what's it called now, for Nottingham Forest as well. I think it would have been foolish if he had decided to stay for one more season. What are the guarantees that Union Berlin, a small club in Germany, would not go and play Europa Cup and be distracted so much so that the weight of playing in European competition as well as playing in the league will cause them to relegate? Nobody's ever looked at that side, because if you look at that team is banking on Awoniyi. Awoniyi is that he played only 2 seasons for them and is their record goal scorer, meaning they are banking on him. And even since he left, with the big money that they paid them, they've not made massive signing. If they had Awoniyi, they would have depended on him to play Thursday night, to play weekend, and play in the cup games and everything. What if they get relegated while he's wanting to play the one more season? What if they don't even get past the preliminary stage and they get knocked out? We have not put all that into consideration. The assumption is that they will just go all the way. That's not true. That's not true. That's a sign of disrespecting the opposition that they will play against. That's one. Secondly, Nottingham Forest, since they signed him, because he's one of their first signings, Nottingham Forest, since they signed him, have gone into the market and have done some very, very good business. Yeah. They brought in some players. They've shown that, we want to stay. We've been away from this league so far. We used to be a master in this league. Now we are back in the league. We don't want to go down easily without a fight. And you have other teams like Wolves, teams like Fulham, teams like Leeds United, who are losing their players, like the woman with the issue of blood. And you think that the most preferred candidate, teams like Brentford, the most preferred candidate for relegation would be Nottingham Forest? I don't think so. It's not because Taiwo Awoniyi is there. When I was picking teams that will go on relegation, I didn't even pick Nottingham Forest in the first place. So the decision is right. Okay, that same will and spirit, I would think it will go to Europa and perform and do well. Let's look at another player that have done extremely well playing in the Europa Cup. His name is Dessers. Right? People say if he play for Union Berlin and he does well, he would get a better contract. Dessers that did well, scored 10 goals in the competition. I think it's the top goal scorer in the competition.
For Feyenoord, Europa Conference League. Yeah,
good. And also performed very well for Feyenoord in the league. Hello, who signed him?
He's went back to his parent club.
What's the name of the club?
Genk.
Where are they? What are they? Which competition are they playing?
The Belgian league. Yeah.
So when we say these things, we just say it like we are God. We already have seen into the future. We know everything that would happen. Do you think it is just about having one great performance that will make a big club sign you? The Joe Aribo that played very well for Rangers. Previous couple of seasons ago, he was in the unbeaten team. Last season, they won the FA Cup. They went to the finals of Europa. Which big club have come for him? So those calculations are done on assumption, are done on the table of sentiment, thinking, oh, if I was the one. Listen.
Hello, my name is Sumaira. I am from Pakistan, and you are watching Better TV Radio. Please subscribe. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Abdullah Wali. I'm from Pakistan, the #1 country in the world in cricket. You're watching Legbete Sports TV Radio. Please subscribe.
In football, if I was the one, no day. If you were the one, you for know your size of boot, you for sabi play, you for day where the man day. When the ships are done, is his career. Nottingham Forest, newsflash, Nottingham Forest will pay him more. He will make more money. He's a married man and he wants to raise his children. He chooses the environment to raise his children. And if he settles into England, it works a whole lot well for him. The healthcare facility, the educational facility, a whole lot of things that you have to consider. If I am eventually going to leave Germany, why not leave it pretty early and settle my family into a place where I might just spend a very long time, get the citizenship and all that, and stay there. See, the thing about people, when you think as a single person, is different from when you think as a married man with family, because the calculation is, I want to secure this family, I want to do this, I want to do this. And the pay that Union Berlin is paying him, what he earns in a month in Nottingham Forest, is probably what Union Berlin will pay for 6 months. Are we not also going to consider that as a factor? And then again, you stay in Union Berlin for one season and then you get injured at the very beginning of the season. And then you have a very poor and terrible season, meaning that it's going to be tied to Union Berlin and sit on it. There are so many other factors that you can put into this conversation that we're not even considering. The whole idea is that Taiwo Awoniyi will be a beast and score 200 goals in Europa for Union Berlin. They will go on to win it and then Real Madrid will come for him. Well, it doesn't always happen like that, because we have Emmanuel Dessers, right? Yeah. Cyril Dessers, who had a fantastic season. I thought by now Barcelona would looking for a striker, will go for him. Have they gone for him? Spurs were looking for additional player. Is it not Richarlison that they went for? Did Richarlison play in the Europa League? Have they gone for him? Arsenal has been looking for a striker. Did they go for him? So let's not always be too quick to think that we know people's career better than them. There are things that we can say players should improve on in terms of their play. But when it comes to transfer and movement, I don't think I have a problem with him going there. Now let's talk about Southampton and Joe Aribo.
Yeah.
So Joe Aribo, I've always said that one of the problems that a Joe Aribo would have is that not too many people understand the position he plays. And in an era where the number 10 position is going into extinction, so in midfield you need body bags. The only positions that are guaranteed in midfield now is the defensive midfield position. You know, this is a defensive midfielder. Okay, but when it comes to the guys that are going forward, you can be shunted wide sometimes. You can be played through the middle. Even Kevin De Bruyne sometimes gets to play wide. Ike Gundogan, Bernardo Silva. These guys are way above Joe Aribo. He's gotten a team where we've seen Taiwo Walcott play for Southampton and go to Arsenal. We'll see Mane play for Southampton and go to Arsenal. I think Virgil van Dijk also played there, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. They played there and went. So this is a shopping block for some of the big clubs. So whoever his management or his agent is might have advised him and said, listen, this club does not win the league. They don't make it to the top 4. But one thing they know how to do is they don't know how to get relegated. They know how to avoid relegation. If you play in this team, you just might be there to put yourself more in the eyes of people. Just put up a good performance. And I think that's a decision that is taken, because if you are not taking this one, you know how people always think that you are the beautiful bride. Now I'm making Keshi stay house for till she be 50. You know, you think, oh, don't worry, Southampton is coming, I don't want to take them. Is there any other person putting offers on the table? Leave what the fans are saying, because the fans will tell you you're good enough for Real Madrid. But at the end of the day, Getafe will not even come for you. Okay? So you focus on the table, the offer that is on the table. Is the Premier League bigger than the Scottish League? Yes. if you have an offer to move from the Scottish League to any club in the Premier League and you look at their history, they really don't get relegated that much, would you go? The answer is yes. And he's taking the first flight that came for him. If there's ever going to be another one, we may never know. But sometimes also it is the refusal to take the first flight that also makes you not to catch up any flight again, and you get stuck in a war zone. So he's seen everything to be seen in Scotland. He's won the league, he's won the FA Cup, he's played in the finals of the Europa Cup and lost it to Aaron Ramsey's missed penalty. I think it's time for him to carry his bags and baggages and move. And he's moving. There is nothing wrong with the move to Southampton. Now let's see how he would settle in, adapt, and play. What would you have preferred him to go to a club like Chelsea, where he would never get to play matches, sit on the bench? He's a Chelsea player, but he sits on the bench. Or go to Southampton, where you play regularly every game for as long as you're fit, and then you're good enough to play for Nigeria, you're good enough to play at any level. Or go to one big, so-called big club, Newcastle, and the rest of them, and then you sit on the bench. Those are some of the factors we need to bring into this conversation. If we can't get those facts, those answers to those questions, then let's leave the players to have their career.
All right, the two clubs they moved to, I think good, decent clubs. Nottingham Forest. I think for Taiwo Awoniyi, he's going to settle in nicely because he's familiar with the coach. Steve Cooper was a youth coach at Liverpool. Yeah. So I think that was one major factor. A lot of people aren't talking about as well that made him, secure that move to Nottingham Forest. And for Aribo as well, I think he's going to settle well in England, have the playing time. It is very, very important, and just have a good season right there in the Premier League.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.